gotta make it out to Vegas, where the lights shine bright. Vegas, in the clear desert night. Vegas, where they can make you a star. Vegas, at the NFR.
NFR Extra is a podcast dedicated to the Wrangler National Finals Rodeo and features icons and personalities that embody the Western lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, I think I learned a lot from them too, but the main thing with coaching to me is when I start talking to them or start trying to explain things to them, I'm kind of re-coaching myself. My game personally has changed as well since I've started coaching. I feel like that has come to light just from coaching them and saying things to them and telling them things. And maybe one day it makes sense like it did for me and see where their career takes them.
This is pro rodeo announcer Andy Seiler, and you are listening to NFR Extra. We are glad to be joined today by Will Lummus, an 8-time qualifier to the National Finals Rodeo, consecutively 8 trips. And Will, you're getting close to crossing the $2 million mark too. Is that something that you envisioned when you started rodeoing?
Not really. I got into the game to, I happened to be good at something and I honestly just got in it to make some money. I never really thought about gold buckles, never thought about making the national finals 8 times, never thought about the $1 million mark, much less the $2 million mark. So it's just, man, it's been a great ride and it's just continues on and we'll, we're along for the ride just like everybody else. So
steer wrestlers are usually very loyal to their horses and their team that they travel with. So in 2026, who are you teaming up with?
It's still kind of out there. We don't really know yet. I've been with Dakota Eldridge and Winston McGraw and the Swamper that we've been on, and Lucky's been doing the hazing. And we're still kind of, I think Winston is going to make a couple changes as far as like maybe trying to travel with family and stuff like that. So, and that's great. And I'm not really honestly sure kind of what my game plan is. Probably still possibly jump on Swamper here and there. Walt Arnold and his horse Shelby that I rode at San Antonio last year, and a lot of people have been riding throughout this winter. I'm going to jump on her this weekend at San Antonio and Jackson. And probably ride her quite a bit and kind of see how that goes. I know her and I get along really well, and Clayton Hass was always a huge fan of her, as well as Luke Branquino. So we get along great, and we'll see how that kind of works out here in the next handful of weeks and kind of go from there. I'm going to make a change this year too, and I haven't really told a lot of people, but I'm kind of going to do a hybrid schedule this year as well and not go to 70 or 80 rodeos. I'm going to probably end up going to about 50. I've made the national finals in 52 rodeos before. So that's kind of my game plan as far as trying to stay healthy. And I felt like all summer this year, I was hurt all summer, and I felt like I wasn't even healthy at the national finals either. And so I'm going to do a little backing off and just kind of go to the rodeos I like and the ones that I've done well at over the years and kind of play it like that and spend a little more time at home too.
We're not asking for a printout, but what does that look like?
Well, like there's weeks of rodeo like Dodge City, like you have Phillipsburg, Dodge, Castle Rock, Heber City, great rodeos, wonderful rodeos. Just and I've even got a buckle from Dodge City, but just usually that week, in general, is usually pretty awful for me. Just generically speaking, over the years, that's not really a profitable week for me. So like that week this year, I may not even go to any rodeos. I may just come home for a week. That next week after that's usually Sikeston, Missouri, which is right here 2.5 hours from home, a big tour rodeo that a lot of people usually don't go to because everybody's headed up towards Hermiston and Logan and stuff like that. I'm probably going to go to Sikeston this year, just kind of closer to home, may fly up to Hermiston, and then my college rodeos start. The coaching deal kind of starts right there the 1st of August, which is right there a week or so after that. And I usually always rodeo through Kennewick. and then come back and kind of get practice started and do things like that. But I don't really know. I'm going to kind of just play that by ear. But I look forward to most all of the 4th of July rodeos and Reno. Greeley really hasn't. I made the short round there this year, but it really hasn't been notoriously good for me. So that may be one that I maybe not go to, but just kind of depends on how we get entered up, really. And if there's 6-7 days between good rodeos that I like, then I'm going to come home and kind of do it like that. I really like that week of Spanish Fork and Ogden and Salt Lake City. I really like those rodeos. Again, they're all within 2 hours of each other, which is fantastic. So. I've done a lot of thinking about it in the last couple of years. I've done a lot of thinking about it, and I think this year I'm actually going to pull the trigger on that and do a little backing off, but still go to enough to make the national finals.
I want to come back to the coaching thing in just a second, but on the flip side of that, you talked about weeks that aren't favorable to you. Are there other places where you feel like, hey, if anybody's going to win this rodeo, it's going to be me? Obviously, you're a competitor and you have self-confidence, but there have to be places where you feel more comfortable whenever you show up.
Yeah, absolutely. And really anymore when I show up, I feel pretty confident, pretty comfortable at all of the rodeos. But like when there's so much money up for grabs at rodeos like Calgary, and this is just summer rodeos that I'm talking about, but like Calgary, I feel like Spanish Fork and Ogden, I usually do pretty well at. St. Paul is usually one that goes pretty well. Reno, I got to go back this year. I won Reno this past year, but I've never won. I've won one check at Reno my entire career until this year.
Wow.
So that would potentially be one that I probably wouldn't go back to, but now I have to.
Right.
So, and some of those rodeos like that, they pay so much. Like San Angelo, San Angelo notoriously has not been very good for me, but the rounds pay $7,000. So you got to go.
Yeah.
And I've won a round there. I've made the short round once and did well. But there's some rodeos that you have to go to. But then there's some rodeos that maybe have go rounds that pay $2,500 that I can just afford to miss in my eyes.
So tell us a little bit about.
And then coming back to the, do what?
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like coming back to the winter rodeos. I mean, if you do well at like San Antonio and Houston, and you get some big money one like that, and then it really allows you to do that. But to kind of back off and go to some different, or not go to as many rodeos, but still with that, even if the winter doesn't go great, I'm still going to kind of stick to that plan and just rodeo like that. And at the end of the year, if the national finals isn't something that's in reach, then I'm okay with that.
Well, you've got your Northwest shirt on, so
yeah.
I know you went to UT Martin, but how do you balance your coaching schedule with your competition schedule?
And that's another reason for me wanting to kind of step away a little, because I do enjoy what I do at the college, and it's extremely difficult to do it all. There's tons of logistics involved trying to enter and trying to get back and be at practice and also be at the college rodeos and not miss any college rodeos, and which I've had to do. And it's really difficult, and it's I feel like I'm letting my kids down too when I'm not at a practice or when I'm not at a rodeo. So that's kind of another reason for me wanting to kind of step away. But the main thing is trying to enter around everything and trying to make it like these winter rodeos. For instance, I'm going Saturday and Sunday to San Antonio. So, I don't have to miss any days of practice. And just trying to enter around the different things that I need to be at.
Being a coach, has your approach changed the more you've gotten involved with college rodeo in general, or has it stayed pretty mainstay when it comes to coaching the athletes? Or are you seeing like a trend when you're teaching those athletes and learning different things from them?
Yeah, I mean, I think I learn a lot from them too, but the main thing with coaching to me is when I start talking to them or start trying to explain things to them, I'm kind of re-coaching myself. So I feel like my game personally has changed as well since I've started coaching. And I feel like my mental side of things has changed as well in the last 4 years, where I feel like that has come to light just from coaching them and saying things to them and telling them things, and kind of going back over, speaking of Martin, going back over a lot of handouts that I had or got from Coach Luthi, and a lot of mental stuff from him or through him. And a lot of those handouts that I got in college that I either looked over or didn't think were important at the time, which I'm sure some of my athletes think that too. But maybe one day, it makes sense like it did for me. And yeah, I guess, see where their career takes them.
I think it's such a good proving ground too, though, because when I've heard Paige Rasmussen and Flint talk about this on their podcast, that when you get to the College National Finals, it's almost like a place where you can find out, hey, do I want to do this for real, or is this just, another chapter in my life that I'm going to put a period on once I graduate? I mean, to me, it can be a proving ground where you can see, hey, can I compete against the best in the world, or is this kind of where my story comes to a close?
Yeah, I mean, and you see it. I mean, you get to compete against the people at the college finals that you're going to compete against at a professional level in, let's say, 3-4 years. So there's tons of guys that I college rodeoed with, that I made the college national finals with, that we're making the national finals together now. So I mean, tons of guys. And I agree. I mean, I think two things. The college national finals is the biggest stage that a majority. I don't know if a majority of the college athletes that are at the college finals, that's probably the biggest stage that they'll be on. But you have that, and I don't say that in a rude way, but there's 15 to 20% of those people that are at the college finals that are competing for something bigger and against that other 15 or 20% that are doing the same thing. So when I was at the college national finals, I was competing against Dirk Tavener and Ty Erickson and JD Struxness and all of those guys that I'm competing against now, and Dakota Eldridge as well. So, I mean, I agree. You can see where you're headed, and you can see how you're competing against those people that you're going to compete against for the next 10, 15 years.
And I think, too, special sticks out when you see it, right? I mean, whether it's a horse or an individual, like when something is special or better than the remainder of the competition, it sticks out. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, you look at, I mean, when you talk about horses, you look at, I mean, there's people that have had the same horse throughout, all different stages of their career. You look at Rusty with Dakota Eldridge. He rode him in high school rodeo, college rodeo, and at the NFR. So there's a lot of those horses that last just as long as the Cowboys. So, yeah, I mean, you look at, It is special when you look at how long the Cowboys have lasted, but also how long those horses have lasted too.
Let's take a quick pause, and we'll be right back. It's Vegas. It's the National Finals Rodeo. It's a December tradition that features the greatest moments on the dirt and a 24/7 citywide party. The NFR experience has been called legendary. It brings together the best cowboys, barrel racers, and stock against a neon backdrop with gold buckles to pursue and memories to be made. There's nothing like it, and there's more on the way in 2026. The NFR in Vegas, where every moment is legendary.
What was it like coming to the Thomas & Mack the first time compared to this last time you were just here in 2025? I've always been intrigued to hear the difference in each year that you're actually in Las Vegas with us, especially being your trips have been consecutive.
There's so much that's the same as far as like competition. I'm more confident than I've ever been there. But I think it's the day-to-day things. Like, I'm so much more busy now than I was then, but I have so many more sponsors and so many more obligations. But anymore, it used to be when the rodeo was over, Jen and I would we stayed at the Mirage. So Jen and I would go to the Rodeo Vegas after party every night, which we were sponsored by them. So like we were, not required, but, like that was one of the obligations that we had that we needed to do. And now anymore, it's like dinner and Jen and I are going to bed. So whether that's us getting old or being party poopers, I'm not really sure, but we get way more sleep in Vegas now than we used to. But It's just I've gotten to ride some really good horses. I've gotten to be with some really good guys. Again, a lot of the guys that are still making the national finals are, the same guys that I've made the national finals with, same guys that I made the college finals with, going back to that. So, a lot of that, it all stays the same. But, it's, I don't know. Like, to me, there's really not that much other than obligations really that have changed for me.
Do you have favorite restaurants after those obligations are complete?
At the Circa, Jen and I the last couple of years have really enjoyed Barry's, which is a steakhouse there in the Circa. And yeah, we try to do different things. I mean, like we went to Hell's Kitchen, the Gordon Ramsay place one time, but there's a place right there on Paradise called Tacos and Beer. We go there every year. Really and truly, that's about it, really. I mean, we're kind of creatures of habit, so, but we try to try new things. But I was trying to think of anything else that was right there, kind of, because we're staying at the Virgin now, and nothing really sticks out. Jenna loves In-N-Out Burger, so we do that quite a bit.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the best.
Yeah, so we will make a couple trips to In-N-Out Burger every year. So
I don't want to be stereotypical or judgmental, but I do want to know, how much damage are you going to do at a steakhouse? Like what kind of order are we going to make, Will?
Oh yeah,
man, I'm usually pretty simple, man. I really am. Jenna never eats all of her steaks, so always have leftovers, which is great. But I'm usually just a 12 to 16 ounce, either ribeye or New York strip, depending on where I'm at. And
there you go.
Yeah, some sort of salad, some sort of potato or mushroom or something like that. So yeah, I'm usually pretty simple. I don't actually eat as much as a lot of people would think. I especially when I'm home, like I actually haven't eaten anything today. I usually wake up and drink 3 or 4 cups of coffee, and then a lot of times I won't eat until dinner. So I just stay busy during the day, and
sure.
Occasionally I'll stop in and have lunch or something, but yeah, I'm usually a one meal, maybe a meal and a half type of guy a day.
So you're kind of in your prime at 33, and it's interesting to me to see how everyone takes care of themselves, what they do to practice and prepare, because like we've talked to Tyler Wagasback before, and he just runs steers. Like there's no workouts, there's no I'm just in the practice pen. So what does your bodily routine, like what are you doing to take care of yourself, Will?
Well, going back to Tyler, he tried the working out thing one time when he rodeoed with Jacob Talley. And y'all have probably heard this story, but he tore his bicep while he was working out, and said that he's won 5 gold buckles not going to the gym, and when he started going to the gym and got in the best shape of his life, he tore his bicep. What he won't tell you is that he had a large, very heavy upper body day right before that performance that he tore his bicep in. So maybe not the smartest guy in the gym, if we're going to go with that route. He likes to sugarcoat that story when he tells that story. Honestly, man, I've never been a gym person. I really haven't. Like I go on kicks and I'll go to the gym, and I feel like if I'm, I don't know, I feel like I can go and tone up pretty quick. But my deal, I stay so busy working and doing different things and building fence, and I've got one of my friends that builds metal buildings, and I just stay so busy doing different things that I do practice, and I try to, especially with the college now, we have steers, and I'll practice a couple times a week with with the guys, and that's fun for me to be able to practice with them and kind of show them some things. But yeah, I really honestly, there's a reason WAG has 5 gold buckles. He literally runs steers every single day. And I just don't know that I could hold up to that. I don't know that my body, which he's done it for so long now that he doesn't know anything different. But I just don't know if I could hold up to that. So, as long as I feel sharp, I run steers, and when I feel sharp, I leave it alone and kind of go to the rodeo, and just, I feel like I don't get fat and out of shape because I don't eat very much during the day. So, it's just the deal of me staying busy and staying mobile and staying active all day until I get home. So,
have you had any kids try and poke the bear, if you will?
Yeah, I've got one kid that he's extremely talented and should have won the national championship this past year. We missed the steer in the short round, but his name's Will Collier. He's from Missouri. Extremely good kid. He's 6'6", going to weigh 230. And yeah, he likes to poke the bear and try to match every now and then. And he's gotten me some, and I'll admit that. But sometimes I don't know. Sometimes you got to rough him up and kind of show him, who the boss is. So anyway.
That's got to be fun, though. I mean, because how many times do college athletes, get to play with people that they idolize, right? I mean,
yeah.
there weren't a bunch of college kids back in the day that got to roll a ball out and play with Michael Jordan. I mean,
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
that's got to be awesome for your kids to be able to go up against an 8-time NFR qualifier.
Yeah, and then I still flank and tie from the post with the guys and kind of spank them on that a little bit too. I still got that from my college days, and I've been practicing some of that and doing some roping and stuff because I'm going to the timed event here in a couple of weeks or a few weeks. So, but yeah, that's still fun. So yeah, we still kind of get it on a little bit here and there, and when somebody gets a little mouthy, we'll show up and kind of do what we got to do. So. But yeah, that is fun. It is fun to kind of compete against those guys, and they're going to a bunch of circuit rodeos and different things too. So, you show up to the same rodeos, and we're all going to Starkville, Mississippi the same night over here this coming Friday. So, it's fun to show up and see those guys at rodeos, get to compete against them too.
So that's a good one. Obviously, steer wrestling is going to be number one. Rank the other 4 events, 1 through, your strongest to the one that you get the most nervous doing.
Probably steer wrestling, calf open be number 2.
Okay.
Heading is going to be number 3, and then it's kind of up in the air. I feel more. I've only tripped probably 10, 12 steers, but I was at Coleman Proctor's a handful of weeks ago and kind of learned how to do it. And it's my newest addiction, and I really enjoyed it, and I probably enjoyed it too much. But from Coleman's mouth, I could go place at Cheyenne. So, I'm taking that with, as a win.
That's a good hype,
so,
man.
I'm going to go tripping number 4 and heeling number 5.
Okay. Who's helping you?
I actually have my brother-in-law is going to go out there and do the heading and the heeling for me.
Okay.
His name's Cody Warner. He's from right down here about 2.5 hours south of me. But he is, last I checked, 8+ healer, probably 7 or 8 header. Probably a 7 header, and I think he may have got his number dropped on the heel side, maybe to a 7+, but extremely talented. And it's going to be fun. We're going to, first time out there, we're going to take the whole family and mom and dad and, as well. So yeah, it's going to be great. It really is.
That's an awesome event to me because it still has so much cowboy left in it. You have to be multifaceted. You have to be able to do everything, and there's just a select few individuals anymore that can do all 5.
Yeah, and it's just a dream come true, honestly. I got invited last year, but it's a dream come true as a kid that grew up doing all the events, obviously, other than tripping for me over here in east of the Mississippi. But just to be invited, I was so excited last year. I was in Fort Worth when Dan Wall called me and invited me, and I just didn't have enough time to get ready. So I turned it down, and he called me in like August of this year, or this past year. And, yeah, that was plenty of time for me to get ready. So we're going to try it on and see. It's a ton of work, but it's, like I said, it's a dream come true for somebody that grew up roping calves and roping steers and did all the way through college. And, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be fun.
You haven't tried to price any tripping horses, have you?
Yeah, negative. No, I'm riding a 22 or 3-year-old horse named Cheeto of Coleman Proctor's that somebody rides every year there. So Pearson rode him last year, and I rode some steers on him over there at the house, and he told me nobody was on him, so I just went ahead and put my name on him.
Perfect. Well, best of luck to you, and this has been a joy, Will. We really appreciate you joining us and sharing your time with us, but we can't wait to see you make NFR number 9.
Yeah, me too, man. It's going to be awesome. I just, we got to average a little more money per rodeo to make it happen in 50 rodeos, but we're going to make it happen.
I believe in you.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
Want to experience more of the NFR? Then visit NFRexperience.com, and we invite you to subscribe to NFR Extra on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you're listening right now. If you like what you've heard on NFR Extra, we would love it if you gave us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe.